very welcome. Well, the Inspector General of Police says some police officers are aiding the militias causing crisis in some parts of the country. Ibrahim Idris met with senior officers at the force headquarters in Abuja.
Yeah, he also said no state has the right to approve prohibited firearms to anybody. Idris assured that arrests have been made concerning the recent killings in Benue State.
We are now coming into a political arena. Commands should be very conversant about the arming of militia men or vigilante. Before a vigilante is established by a government, you must have a bylaw which must be passed by the House of Assembly. It's the responsibility of the Commissioner of Police of the commands to study these bylaws and see how it conforms in line with the constitutions and other laws of this country. But whereby through the connivance of some police officers, you have a command arming militia men under several names. These, I think, our officers have to breast up to face these challenges. No country, no government in this country has the responsibility to approve some prohibited firearms for any Nigerian under any guise.
That's a strong indictment from the
police
Inspector
boss.
General of Police. Okay. We have joining us now a security practitioner, Oladinde Arios. Good to have you join us.
You can't see my new glasses.
Well, it looks good. It looks good. It really looks good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
That statement from the Inspector General of Police, we were talking before that came up. When the police IG says some commands, the police is arming militia, what kind of signal does that send out?
You know, I want to commend the IG for having the courage, because what he just said now, for me, is an indictment of the system over which is presiding. You rarely see people owing up like that. Instead, they want to sustain the system, keep their heads, maintain the status quo, because he's enjoying the office. But he just said something. Now, unfortunately, what he's saying is not new. I don't know if people listening were old enough to remember the case of Maurice Yamu, who was aiding Anini, that notorious armed robber in
the
those
early
days.
80s.
Yeah.
So they all went for it. So if it could happen then, when Nigeria was a lot saner than the subsisting madness that we are contending with, what are we talking about?
But wouldn't it have been more reassuring if the police IG, Idris Ibrahim, had come out to say so number of police officers have been found wanting, they've been arrested for colluding with militias and vigilantes and the rest of them? Wouldn't that have been even more?
Yes, I was going to say that.
Yes.
The point is this. I wouldn't know at what point he made that discovery. Okay, all
Maybe
of these
when he
things,
relocated to Benue.
Yeah, all of these things, they come up through processes. None is an event, okay? And I'm sure, even though he didn't disclose it, they must have been having some underground investigation, trying to pinpoint specific cases, and of course, arrests will be made. To save his neck, to save the police as a body, he will be glad to still bring before the world, before television, all the people who get arrested in a case like that.
Yeah.
But it's enough that he has said it.
But what's responsible for this gaping hole within the Nigeria police force? Does it have to do with the structure that has been a subject of debate over and over again, or
a country gets the police that it deserves. The men in the police today, they are not from Atlantis, they are not from Siberia, neither are they from space. They are Nigerians like you and I, from the same ethnic background, religious backgrounds, okay? And I can tell you for free, we have more arms and ammunition on the streets than we have in all the armories in Nigeria. Otherwise, why do people get easily killed here? I mean, the other day, there was traffic somewhere, and somebody was driving against the traffic. One young man got down and challenged them. Before you know, somebody from that vehicle brought a pistol and shot the guy.
Oh, man.
We all ran away. We had to scamper to safety. It is that bad. Now, if you say the police structure, I mean, over the time, they will say welfare, they are not well paid and all of that. Since Tabalogun, so much has gone into improving the laws of the police. Okay, but the point is, the police exist within the same corrupted and corrupting society. So you cannot, we be deceiving ourselves to say, oh, because they are now very well paid, they get promoted on time, they now live in air-conditioned barracks, which is still a mirage anyway, that you expect them to be wonderful, to be angels. No. All of these things have round-robin effects, okay? Especially when a police orderly, for instance, will be attached to, let me just come down now to a council chairman. Perhaps he knew the chairman before he became chairman, and he knew his lifestyle, the level where he was, and suddenly SUV comes in, starts living large, he too will be working, and his head will be working.
All right. Now, if going by what the IG said,
right,
let us assume that that's the case. What would be the interest of police officers in arming militia in this?
Pecuniary gain now. Militias, if you must know, are paid fighters. Somebody somewhere is financing all of these things we are seeing. All these terrorists, some people are financing them. Now, people get paid for all these things. It's a policeman, how much does he get paid in a month? And they are saying, look, let's use your gun, get us arms, right? And we pay you X, Y, Z. It will take God touching the man's heart to say no. Why? Because his needs are not being met.
So it boils down to the issue of welfare.
Number
so
one.
Whatever improvements that
two,
have happened.
If the guy too is disgruntled,
yes.
If he's disgruntled for free,
against
if
whom
get,
now? Against
if
the
the
system?
policeman too is disgruntled
Against
against the system. Yes, because you look at yourself and say, hey, I'm a graduate and I've worked for X number of years. Yet I cannot see the real progress. I'm not fulfilled. I have not experienced actualization. Okay? And somebody now comes and says, let's go. Before you know, without a thought, it will just.
So this marching order from the IGP to the state, the commissioners of police in all the states to disarm militias in their states. I mean, it looks like a tall order. Is it enough to just give that command?
Sometimes.
Or give power to it?
It amazes me the way people pass instructions from the top to the bottom to the down. How can you just give such an order, that CPs should go and begin to disarm militias? As if militias are you and I, and they can come here and get us, arrested and our arms collected. It takes a lot more than that. The CPs, are they just going to be waking up now to realize that they have militias in their communities or in their areas of jurisdiction? No, they've always been there. So in giving orders, I would be very happy if the IG will, in retrospect, think about the reality of what is passing on. The other day, he said if they should kill any policeman or kidnap any policeman, the CP will go for it. The question is, so if they kidnap me, who should go for it? And policemen are especially trained, groomed, and being paid to protect all of us. These things call for review. Unfortunately, I told you earlier on, these are not the best of times to be IG in Nigeria.
Now, looking at it from the face value, it looks a little very complicated and complex.
It is complicated.
And all of that. But if we go down to the real, for instance, let's take a place like Benue or Taraba State, for instance, where you have, and even Adamawa State, where you have hunters, where you have vigilantes. In fact, JTF vigilantes have assisted the Nigerian military to a great extent.
Especially in fighting Boko Haram. Right.
So when you're saying, police command, disarm these people, what are we looking at? How do we reconcile
how do you even start
what the vigilantes and what the hunters are doing right to help the system and ensuring that we don't arrest the wrong people?
You see, when JTF emerged, My issue with them was they were not professionals trained in the art of fighting wars. Neither were they trained to handle ammunition.
They were basically volunteers.
Volunteers. And nobody thought of even giving them some small training. What they had was the will, okay, and then they got involved. Along the line, they got armed. Don't forget that. And then it got to a point that the military then would want to go along with them, perhaps because they know the terrain and all of that. So they were adding value, no doubt about that. But where we are now, we are hunters, local hunters. We were here when Governor Fayose called the hunters in Ekiti together and told them to go against any herdsmen. I mean, this is not a joke, it is real. The question is, all those people that were shown on TV in the government house that day, they were armed. And they were not going to be confronting the herdsmen with bare hands or with their cutlasses and hoes.
Well, are you sure we don't even need to modify that statement? Did he say that the hunters should go after herdsmen or armed?
Not going after them as in attacking them, but as in protecting their territory.
Against armed.
Exactly.
Armed
so
herdsmen.
If you must protect your territory against an armed man, will you go there with fork and knife?
Well, absolutely. That's a very good question.
That's the reality.
Let's still stay with the issue of Benue State, for example. You know,
in case of Benue,
the IG and Governor Tom have been, you know, they've had this
they
mild face-off.
Yeah, it's a face-off.
They're on different pages.
Yeah,
exactly.
On the issue of arming of militias, the IG has you know blamed the governor for arming militias. If the governor had to go out of his way to arm militias, it means there is a gap. There is a security gap that he felt this is the only way I can solve that problem.
And
it takes me back to the question I asked you earlier. Is it about the structure of the police? I mean, the over-centralization of the police force. You said earlier, the issue of somebody at the top just giving directives to, you know, those at the bottom. Is it enough to get this solved? So where should we begin to solve this problem?
The disconnect and dislocation between the government and the governed is at the base of all of these things. So before we begin to look at solutions, we must trace the origin of the problems. Okay?
Do we know?
Sorry?
Do we even know the origin?
That's what I'm saying. We must identify, isolate the problems. Yeah. That's why in medicine, when you go for treatment, the first thing they say, go and take a test. That way they can see what is wrong with the patient and then get the appropriate drugs, especially in treating some bacteria. They would isolate to the smallest level. Now, in this situation, Governor Autumn said he had been writing to the IG and the presidency requesting for help and assistance, but they were not getting it and people were getting murdered. The Constitution of Nigeria gives the man the role of CSO of Benue State, Security Officer. He owes the citizens the duty to protect them, to secure their lives and properties, whereby they can be free to go out daily and pursue their livelihood. But it wasn't happening. He had to devise a means. Whether he's right or wrong now is another issue entirely. But you will not expect the government to fold his arms and allow people to just come, invade the territory and kill people. The last one that we had, officially the figure was 73. Nobody will be happy as a governor. You are in a state, and some guys will just come and murder people like that. The question now is, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a huge disconnect between the government and the government, and dislocation too. And again, the application of resources is also an issue, right? You know, I still say here that I will not support state police. Why? Because we still lack the democratic culture and the tolerance and the sagacity to manage that end. Otherwise, you will be seeing the state governors in their capacity as emperors raising private armies, so much that the moment you don't belong to their camp or to their party, you have to just leave the state for them. Okay? So I will not now say they should now go and start with state police. It's not the way to go. The way to go, like I said, is to begin to look at how did we get here? Okay. It wasn't this bad before.
All right.
Today, life has no meaning in Nigeria. Anybody can get killed anyhow.
it seems like life doesn't have value in Nigeria anymore. Anyway, the governor of Benue State and the governor of Taraba State at one time were accused of arming militia, but they have come out openly to say, including Nasarawa State, yes. But they have come out openly to say, no, that is not true. We are not arming militia. But well, let's see from the window of the federal government. Does it seem like the federal government is overwhelmed by this whole security herdsmen issue?
Particularly concerning herdsmen, I will score the federal government very low, very poorly. For all I care and for all I've seen in the public space, the federal government is not doing enough. And that's the truth. It is the governors, they're the ones that feel the heat. And it would be irresponsible of them to just fold their arms and be waiting endlessly for real action, coming from Abuja. They may not agree that they armed militiamen, but they gathered the militiamen. They funded them. Now tell me, how are they armed? Yeah, how are they armed? You were supposed to be here and interview people, Abi. The moment we come here and then you are carrying a pistol, nobody will tell me, oh, they couldn't see you with a pistol. No, that's the way it goes. So they should begin to go back. Like I said, we have too many arms on the streets. There should be a very serious and concerted effort to start with.
To mop up the arms.
To mop up the arms. Let's take them away. You will not understand the way people... There was a story today, I on the radio, coming here, somewhere in Ikorodu, and then a policeman went after the criminals. Before you know, they killed him. Growing up, policemen were using only batons. I remember. But today, even with their AK-47, there's still no match for the criminal. And that's a big issue. So the idea or whoever, they should raise a team nationwide now. And that should cut across government levels, whereby working through traditional rulers and community leaders, let them make conscious efforts to mop up arms. Who
will be doing this engaging? Is it the police at the center that will be engaging with the traditional rulers, or the people, leadership at the local level? It's almost contradictory when you say that, look, we're not ripe for state policing. And then again, the state governors are the...
It's more of an appeal now. More of an appeal. It's a concerted effort. You see, we're lucky here.
You think mere appeals will solve the problem, or, real decisive action?
When you say decisive action, who will take decisive action? How much of the territories do they know? But you see, in every community, there is leadership, either through religion or by virtue of dynasty or wealth or whatever. Those are the people that should be targeted and given the mandate to, relate with the fellows in their area. Some people gave information in Ikorodu which led to the end of Badu today. That's what I'm talking about.
Has Badu really ended?
I mean, unlike before, it was it was one day, one death in Ikorodu before. Yes. But I mean, since when have we had that happening? Okay, so it's the same approach. They got to go back to the traditional rulers, religious leaders, and community leaders.
All right, now we don't seem to see, like she was saying earlier on, we expect that the leadership in Benue State with the federal government would have sat down on a table to discuss what is going forward, so that everyone has the strategy, both sides have the strategy, the same strategy, but we don't seem to see that at all. Is there more to this than we're seeing?
You see, they said together, I've been working together, we win together, and that we will do a lot more working together. It still baffles me. About 4 days ago, the governor said they received a warning that in 10 days' time, they will be invading.
And in less than 48 hours.
In less than 10 hours. After he said that, there was an invasion.
In Taraba State.
Yes. And you just keep asking yourself that why are the agencies not responsive to all of these things?
So if the governor of Taraba State had intelligence that there was going to be an attack, and he passed it on, why was that intelligence not used?
Acted upon.
That's why we keep saying
what exactly is the problem? Do we have an issue of funding or lack of it, of the police, the people who are supposed to protect you and I? Is that where the real problem is? Or we have lost it as far as the passion on the part of the police officer to really want crime and criminality to be brought to the barest minimum? Whether it is militancy,
terrorism,
kidnapping,
robbery. I'm not going to drop the blame at the feet of the police officer. The average policeman, for all I care, is ready to work, empowered and enabled. But the situation whereby the state governor, he came out loudly to address the world that, look, I have this intelligence and in 10 days they are coming here. It shouldn't be the one telling the federal government. The federal government has its own structure that should be able to gather information, intelligence, either covertly or overtly. But the man took it on himself and he spoke out. But what happened? Nothing. The question now is, why can't we have harmony between the states and the federal government? Especially when the issues affected Nigerians.
And now that politicking is right around the corner,
it's going to get worse, whether you like it or not. It's going to get worse, and that's the truth. We shouldn't live in denial. Okay? There was a report, and I was trying to establish the report, only to say that it was somebody somewhere that generated the rumor, pushed it out, and people believe it. Okay? And it was raging. All of these things shouldn't be happening. We should be enjoying technological advancement, okay, positively. Unfortunately, those things are not being used to create schism and crisis among us. We have a lot to do.
All right. Well, we have to leave you here now. Oladeyinde Ario, security practitioner, thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you for inviting me. I'll come again.
Thank you, of course. And the next time you come, I hope we'll be talking about progress reports on what's going on as far as security is concerned.
We need to also look at the carnage on the road between the toll gate here and Baga.
Well, that's another
incessant issue.
Yeah.
It's been recurring.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on
over and over again,
Thank you.
causing a whole lot of traffic and all of that.